Their final warm-ups, Connors in the near court, Borg in the far court. Tony Trabert, Arthur Ashe, any final thoughts as we start to get this thing underway?
Go ahead, Arthur.
Sorry, Tony.
I guess you do, don't you?
No, I guess I do. I guess we all do. But Pat and Tony, I expect Connors to come out like Joe Frazier.
Smoking.
Yes, and I expect Borg to be just like he always has been. Stoic, calm, but well in control of the situation.
I was just going to say that it's sweaty time. I'm nervous and excited, and I hope it's a great match. That was the umpire, John Coleman, starting the match.
Borg in the far court, serving. Connors hanging away from this end.
Well, here we go.
That's what he did to Vilas all day yesterday.
They're out of the starting gate.
Up. 15 all.
Very powerful shot from the baseline.
You know, I don't think people realize how difficult it is on this kind of a surface, a slow surface, to hit a ball from baseline to baseline that hard where you can really handcuff your opponent. Double break point for Connors.
What Vilas said yesterday after he played Connors, he hit everything 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, he said when a guy hits it at you 200, you can't hit it 400 back.
I think those single extrusion metal rackets, one of which Connors is playing with, enable you to do that. You cannot do that with a wooden racket. You can't get that trampoline effect which you get with those single extrusion rackets. And Borg is playing with a wooden racket.
Still break point.
30-40.
Borg pulled really a surprise tactic by serving and coming in, and it worked for him.
Lifetime record, by the way, is 5-1 Connors, 2-0 this year for Connors.
And it's advantage Borg.
Advantage Borg.
You know, Pat, I'm a firm believer in almost forgetting statistics and lifetime records when you get into a championship like this, because it's sort of who gets it going right on the given day. And at this stage, Björn Borg has won the first game of the first set. The finals of the U.S. Open Championships from Forest Hills, New York.
Mr. Borg wins the first game.
Borg won the first game. This is the first point of the second game when Connors served. That makes it 15-love.
15-love.
There's ice.
There it is. Personification of it right there.
Bjorn Borg.
Well, Connors, Tony, is starting out just as I thought he was, going for the lines. And he's having a little bit of a problem right now. I think it's got to be nervousness on the part of both players.
I'm sure that's the case, Arthur. I've always felt as a player that you want to play that first game or two carefully, rally quite a bit, get loosened up, get relaxed. Of course, Connors, like you say, likes to smoke it right off the bat.
15.
That kind of a shot has to make the weekend player happier. Fell in the finals U.S. Open like Borg didn't get a bad bounce. He just took his eye off of it and mishit it and barely got the ball to the net.
And he's supposed to have the world's best forehand. That only missed by half an inch.
40-15.
He's going to make a few of those before this match is over.
Oh, that you can count on. He's going to make a bunch of them. I think the question is he going to make a higher percentage of those than Connors makes either winners or can handle the volley coming in, putting the pressure on?
Make it 40-15. Just out.
40-30.
I think an important thought, too, is that you're not going to really discourage either one of these players, regardless of the situation. Whatever the score becomes, they are not going to throw in that sponge.
Game for Mr. Connors.
Makes it 1-all.
Games are 1-all. First set.
Last year, Connors defeated Borg 7-5, 7-5, 7-5. Indicate how closely they played last year.
Yes. Tony, one thing's for sure in these first two games. Borg's going to have to start hitting the ball deeper. For it to bounce around the service line is not enough because Connors got his practice yesterday against Vilas, hitting those balls back. There, it has to land there. Change of pace. Yes. Jimmy is in the zone right now.
Low 30.
He is timing that topspin perfectly.
Out.
It was wide.
By about a foot.
30.
And I think basically speaking, Connors will not be unhappy if Borg decides to attack the net because he does not always come in on good shots, and also he's not really an excellent volleyer.
Yes. Looks like I might be saying yes up here all day.
15-40.
And it's double break point for Connors. He had double break point in the first game of this match on Borg's serve. Borg got out of it. Let's see if he can do it again.
Out.
That was not intentional.
No, that's for sure. He just
40.
sure took his eye off of it.
Still break point. 40-30. Beg your pardon, 30-40.
That's gone.
Connors took a long look as one of his shots caught the
Game for
line
Mr. Connors.
and skidded into
Mr.
Borg.
Connors leads.
But nevertheless,
2
Connors
games
leads
to
2
1.
games to 1.
First set.
Connors serving. He leads 2 games to 1. First set.
Well, Tony, I don't see that very often.
Low 15.
A backhand drop shot from Jimmy Connors. obviously, but Björn is playing about 2 yards behind the baseline, so why not give it a try? Tony, let me, and I hope you agree with me, cue the viewers on what I think Connors is trying to do. I think Segura, his coach, is trying to tell him to hit the ball with a lot of underspin so the ball will stay low. Just long.
15-30.
Arthur, I agree with you, and in the process, he doesn't care if he hits it short because
It
in
doesn't
fact,
matter.
if he hits it short, he might even be better off because with a two-hander reaching way in front, Borg is not as effective. No two-handers is as effective, and of course, Pancho Segura knows that well because he hit a two-hand forehand all his life.
So Connors is going to be chipping away with those heavily underspin forehands cross court to do two things, to try to make Borg commit himself to the backhand side and render his topspin pretty ineffective.
First serve was a let.
Yes. A perfect example of that underspin forehand crosscourt by Connors just opened up the court and left the forehand side open for a winner.
That makes it 30 all.
And also, Borg's return was short and lets Connors get several feet inside the baseline. There is Pancho Segura, right in the middle, very intently watching this match.
Pretty fair player himself, wasn't he?
Oh, he was tough. I played many, many matches against him, and he was always tough to beat.
Interesting, I thought they said that yesterday,
30-40.
before the match with Vilas, they mapped out the strategy in the car on the way out here.
Right. Break point for Vilas. Try and get even at 2-all in the first set.
Left.
They said they did it on a napkin in the
Right.
car coming to the tennis.
First service.
At that point, you know, Pat, you don't come up with a lot of intricate strategy. It's just really a good, solid thought or two, just almost a reminder.
Borg in the far court, Connors near you. Games are 2-all. Look at that again.
Games are 2-all.
Connors set up for the kill here, and he pulled it a little bit too much and hit it about a foot into the alley. And I think a perfect example of what we mentioned, the puncher and the counterpuncher. Now we're back live, 2-all, Borg serving.
Too good.
You know, Arthur, I think that was a perfect example of the difference in these two players. I don't think Connors has to worry as much about Borg trying to sneak in on the short ball or the floater, but Borg will always have to worry about Connors coming in off the short ball or if he loops it up in the air. Much more pressure on Borg as a result.
You're right, Tony, and it's going to force Björn to hit his topspin deeper. Unless he gets it deeper, he's in trouble.
When you're playing a player that runs you out of position and you know he might come forward, you have to really try to take a chance. But if he's not going to come forward, you just try to get it back in play, hopefully deep, because he's not going to come in and take it early on you.
15 all. Borg comes to the net. Now goes back.
Good night,
Connor seems to have been a little bit cautious about coming into the net, I suppose because of his great respect for Borg's passing shot.
Now Connors comes in on the short ball, forces the very short return, and Connors bounces it up into the crowd to make sure Borg can't get to it. Now we're back to live action. It's 15-30, Borg serving. 2 all in the first set.
Well, Tony, I think the strategy here for...
Good night,
Connor seems to have been a little bit cautious about coming into the net, I suppose because of his great respect for Borg's passing shot.
Now Connors comes in on the short ball, forces the very short return, and Connors bounces it up into the crowd to make sure Borg can't get to it. Now we're back to live action. It's 15-30, Borg serving. 2 all in the first set.
Well, Tony, I think the strategy here for Connors also is just to go to the backhand side.
And it's double break point for Connors. I was going to ask you, Arthur, quickly, off the ground, forehand and backhand, Borg apparently seems stronger on the forehand side.
Definitely.
And Connors?
Much stronger on the backhand side.
Meaning the two-hander?
Yes.
Okay.
15-40. Still break point.
Now, that might have looked like a very poor attempt at a shot by Connors, but in fact what he was trying to do is roll the ball softly, short, pull off a bit of an angle, get Borg out of court, and bring him forward. He just didn't make the shot.
There is Jimmy's one big weakness right there. The forehand approach shot. He doesn't quite know where the range is.
Particularly when it's low, and Arthur, it seems to me that he misses it into the net much more frequently
yes, he
than
does.
he misses it long.
Over the baseline. You're correct. But I think we all have trouble with that.
Scores deuce.
Was wide.
And Tony, right there, to me, is the key to beating Connors. You have to get him to commit himself on the backhand side, and then go short to the forehand. Björn has not as yet been able to do that very effectively. He's hanging on, but just barely right now.
Yeah. Oh, that's a pretty good winner there.
And the difference really is at that time Connors took it before it got too high. He was able to go over the ball. And the previous point when he missed it, he let it get higher and he had to go under it, and it sort of took off on him a little bit.
He likes to take the ball on the rise, doesn't
He sure does.
Now, Tony, to me, Jimmy has been dominating this match, controlling the points, but it's 2-all and advantage to Borg.
Oh, a low percentage try by Connors doesn't pay off.
We'll return to the West Side Tennis Club with more championship tennis after this word from your
Game
local
for Mr. Borg.
station. Action in the first set. Connors serving at 2-3.
First service.
U.S. Open Championship. First serve was a left. Should be all over. It is.
A good lesson for any tennis player. Borg was
15,
seemingly
12.
out of the point, but he waited and then guessed. He guessed correctly, had the racket in the hitting position, got back into the point, and though Connors won it, he really had another chance. Now we're back live with Connors getting ready to serve at 15 love. You see so many players quit when they've hit a poor lob. Wait, guess, and go one way and get ready. You might get lucky.
Out. 15, all.
Games are 2-3 in the first set.
You know, Pat, already Borg has done something that Vilas was not able to do against Connors, and that's break his serve.
Right.
We'll see a lot more of those on both sides, I'm sure.
On the right is the swirl, Margie Wallace. On the left,
15.
in the red striped shirt, right there is the women's champion, Chris Everett.
She shows me a lot of class, Pat. I'm sure everyone knows that she and Jimmy were very close at one stage, engaged to be married and so forth. She has the courage to come out and watch it. I'm sure she wants to see Jimmy win. She also wants to see good tennis.
Well, he picked her to win yesterday. Which, of course, you did. Score is 40-15. Games are 2-3.
Two, 3, 40-15, first set. Connors serving to Björn Borg.
Goodbye.
So it's 3-all now.
Game for Mr. Connors.
You know,
Games are 3-all.
Coming up next Saturday at 4:30 on the CBS Sports Spectacular, the World Junior Middleweight Championship featuring Emil Griffith and Eckhart Doggy, the Woodward Handicap, the Dutch Grand Prix. That's all on CBS next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Right now on CBS, U.S. Open Tennis Championships from Forest Hills. Borg against Connors. Games are 3-all first set.
took that one too high. Almost impossible to hit top spin that high.
Arthur, would you agree with me that when you're playing someone that's a steady, tight player like a Borg, that you might have a great effect on him if you rush him a little bit, take a return to serve and charge, and attack quite a bit?
You're exactly right, but there's only one Björn Borg.
And there's only one Jimmy Connors.
Here it is again in slow motion.
Let's take a look to see what Connors does with his two-hander, an approach by Borg, and he not only rips it all his might, it hits inside of the service line right in the corner. Now we're back to live action, and that one went down the line, and it's triple break point for Connors.
Speaking of live action, that was pretty live.
Looks like he's hitting the ball just as hard as he possibly physically can. You think he is?
I do. I really do. Particularly on the two-handed side, he just turns those shoulders. There it is. Jimmy Connors has broken serve for the second time in this set. Borg has broke once, so Jimmy Connors leads 4-3 in the first set. This is the best of 5 set, the U.S. Open Championships.
After his second service break, Connors to serve at 4-3. First set.
Jimmy's now gesturing to a linesman, I think.
No, it's some kids underneath the backdrop in the back, and
all
he
the
sees
time,
movement.
yes.
He sees movement under
feet.
there, and I think they have a couple of kids under there to get balls that go underneath, but the youngsters hear all the excitement and want to peek out and watch, and I think you just saw a little movement.
Whatever, it's on now. Score 15 love.
Too hard. And gone also, Pat, is the wind that we spent 15 seconds talking about to open the match. There's no wind on the center court now. None at all. Hardly blowing. Björn really ripped that backhand cross court.
It is 15-30. That time it backfired on Connors because he was baiting Borg to come in. He hit a soft ball and a short ball, and Borg really nailed it, as Arthur said. And it was too tough a ball to Connors to handle, really get it down where he wanted it.
Connors leading 4-3 in the first set. It's the best 3 of 5. First serve was a let.
You know, if you had to talk about the physical aspects, Connors should be fresher because he has had easier matches getting to the finals than Borg.
Got it.
Let's take a look again and watch Connors turn those shoulders and rip that ball. Now he gets, I think Borg does a fantastic job to get it back, but there's no way he can recover. Connors takes a short backswing and strokes it with topspin into the open court.
Score is 30 all.
Right in the corner. And Pat, what really made that effective was that ball had no pace on it. Bjorn had to generate all of his own pace in that shot and couldn't really give any direction to it.
40-30. Connors already leads 4-3. Picture perfect.
Again, Mr. Connors.
Tony, I got to say here that much more is at stake rather than the U.S. Open tennis championships. What's also at stake is the battle for the #1 spot for this year.
In the world.
In the world.
That's a big place.
Not much room there.
Sure isn't.
Arthur, you've won so many major championships. Which one means the most to you?
Well, the Davis Cup, really. That was my first big one.
Well said.
Right in the corner.
15 all. Ball.
Tony, right now I want to mention briefly Björn Borg's racket. He's playing with a wooden racket and it's strung about as tight as you can possibly get it, about 85 pounds. So he really has to physically exert himself to get the ball to go.
You know, Arthur, I've heard that so many times. It's just hard for me to believe that a wooden racket will withstand 80 or 85 pounds of pressure or a
But
gut.
it doesn't very long.
No, and you know, I just wonder if you really test it, would it be that tight? He certainly has it as board tight as he can get it.
And he wrong-footed Jimmy on that shot.
It's 40-30.
40-30.
I guess that's the right expression. At least we use it on the court.
Wrong-footed?
Wrong-footed.
I think it's right. So the story in the first set has Jimmy Connors 5.
Game for Mr. Borg.
Games, that is, Björn Borg 4. The U.S. Open Championships. Stan Molest, the USTA president, with his wife Janie, looking on, and I'm sure very happy to know that there's been another 3-year deal with CBS, and we're happy about it too, that we'll be back here 3 more years.
Well, I'm tickled pink, Pat, because, you know, some people say Wimbledon's the best tournament in the world, but in the United States, this is it. Connors ready to serve with new balls from the far court. He leads 5-4, and you see him showing Borg the new balls. It's not a rule, it's strictly etiquette.
No doubt about that one.
That ball's been used now.
15, love.
Might be broken.
Just wide.
Oh, if you're talking about Bjorn's racket and how tightly it's strung, how about Connors?
Yes, Pat. He's using a single extrusion racket, which means it's one piece of aluminum bent around a frame and then a handle stuck into it. And the racket he has is fairly flexible.
How tight might it be?
Oh, he's stringing his. I asked him when I was practicing with him about 58, 59. 15 gauge gut here on the clay court. That's going to drop in.
Oh, he just missed it.
40, love.
So much for my prognostications, I guess.
Triple set point for Jimmy Connors. When you say 15 gauge, Arthur, quickly, is that thick or thin?
That's pretty thick. As you go up, 16 gauge is thinner. 17 gauge is even thinner.
Piano wire.
I've got some 17. Let's get ready for the Pacific Southwest in L.A. indoors.
Mr. Connors, 6 games to 4.
Game and first set to Connors, 6-4. Borg to serve now. First game, second set. Tough serve.
More importantly, Pat, on that last shot by Connors, it's the only one-handed backhand I've ever seen him hit.
Actually, that was a four-hander. Went in on his in what would be our backhand side, but it's his one-hander.
But when he came in to put the ball away, he hit it with the backhand and with one hand.
Right, you're right, coming in.
Connors having won the first set. And with his temper being considered, does he let down now or does he keep smoking?
Well, Connors, Pat, is a front runner. When he gets in front, he really pours it on. His confidence gets higher and higher.
Also, Pat, I think it's safe to say that you're in the finals of the U.S. Open Championships, one of the majors. You don't let down. These guys have been around too long, and they know that this match is a long way from being over. Too many things can happen, so they're going to stay geared up. Well, you talk about depth. Borg hit a topspin shot that landed right on the baseline. Connors hit it right back on the baseline.
I'd like to welcome those of you who've been watching the Minnesota Vikings against the New Orleans Saints to Forest Hills, New York, in the finals of the U.S. Open. Going Borg against Jimmy Connors. Connors won the first set. First game's to 4. Borg is serving 40-15.
I'm sure Hank Stram would have rather been here.
Depends on the outcome of the game.
Game for the score.
Game to Borg. Connors strolls off. He won the first set 6-4, and Borg holds service in the first game of the second set. Beautiful day in New York. We're at Forest Hills.
1 second set.
Connors won the first set. Best 3 of 5.
Man, I don't know what you have to do to win a point around here. Borg got tremendous depth throughout that point, eventually hit a ball that landed maybe 5 feet past the service line, and Connors just jumped all over it.
Let's see just rub on his racket. Connors ready to serve. We'd like to welcome those of you who watch the Lions and the Bears, Chicago and Detroit, to some great tennis at Forest Hills. The finals of the U.S. Open between Borg and Connors. Packed house.
It didn't go over.
And Borg is...
That's the way the thing stands right now. Connors won the first set 6-4. Borg held serve in the first game of the second set, and Connors is serving now at 15-all.
And Pat Borg thought in that point that one of the balls Jimmy hit was over the baseline, but it's ancient history now, so... Here we go, 15-all. Love one.
What is that Borg keeps rubbing on the handle of his racket?
He takes some sawdust out of his pocket, rubs it on the handle. 30-15. I might mention here, Pat, about Bjorn's handle on his racket. It's halfway up the throat because he hits the ball with 2 hands. He just can't use a conventional racket handle. You see there's a good picture of it all the way up the throat almost.
Means you need a lot of extra sawdust, right?
Yes, he does.
A lot of extra leather, too.
You cut down a big tree.
Fru McMillan wraps his handles the same way. Hits the ball with 2 hands from both sides. Pronated a little too long that time.
30-all.
In the first set, Connors made a lot more unforced errors than Borg, 21-7. Of course, that figures because he's the one that's been going for the winners, and he hit a lot more winners than Borg hit, and of course, he won the first set 6-4. Both have gotten a high percentage of first serves in because they're not really hitting them all very hard, they're spinning them.
Score's 30-all. We'll change it right now. It's 40-30. And the second game of the second set.
Pat, that's the kind of an error that really bugs a player like Borg, who is very steady, very consistent. He wasn't really trying to do anything with the ball at all, just sort of get it cross court, and he just, took his eye off. He's human.
Tony, I have to say right now, there's the key to beating Jimmy Connors. If I could encapsulate the first set, the topspin didn't work. Björn has to switch to underspin now. He has to, because it'll do two things. It'll keep the ball low, and it will take the pace off the ball. Jimmy Connors eats pace for breakfast.
He's lost about 20 pounds since last year.
I don't think he lost that much. I think that was an exaggeration.
Wow, hit the line.
There's no question Jimmy's in the zone. He just knows where he is and where the ball's going.
Take a look at that again, and we'll watch how Connors rips the one here. That ball, as you see, could skid right past Borg, which meant it hit on the line. It accelerates and stays lower. Now we're back to live action advantage Connors.
Too good. So what else is new?
You know, an interesting shot as far as I'm concerned, because so often when you have a player that deep, Connors would be inside the court, but not Jimmy. A lot of players would try to drop shot that ball and perhaps miss it or give it away, but instead he had a ball to pump. He hit it well and won the point and the game. So it's 1-1 Borg serving the second set.
15 love.
In spite of the fact that it's Connors and Borg in the finals, I think the story and the man most people talked about during this championship was Eli Nastase. And he's going to be featured tonight in an interview with Mike Wallace on 60 Minutes on CBS. Nastase, by the way, should have some interesting things to say. He indicated yesterday after
that's the understatement of the year.
that he might not come back to
He'll be
Forest
back.
again.
He'll be back, Pat. He'll be back here with bells on.
That's the only thing he didn't do this year.
I hope he doesn't listen, because if he did, he probably will bring those bells.
It was 30 love. Games are 1-1 second set. Connors won the first set.
Tony, I don't know why Bjorn doesn't switch to underspin. Can't figure it out right now. He has to.
He's so accustomed going over the ball.
But he can hit it with underspin. I've seen him do it.
He can on the two-handed side, but it's hard to I'm sure, make that radical a change, Arthur. He really likes to go over it.
But it's not really what you like to do. It's what you have to do to win. Right in the corner again.
Absolutely incredible. Of course, excuse me, Tony. Those of you and the viewing audience who've been watching the Eagles and the Cowboys, Philadelphia and Dallas, welcome to Forest Hills. And the finals of the U.S. Open Tennis Championships between Jimmy Connors and Björn Borg. Connors won the first set 6-4. Games are 1-1 in the second set, and the score is 30-all.
That's a perfect example of what I mean again, Tony. The ball was hit with underspin deep. The ball didn't rise above Jimmy's kneecaps.
Right. My only point would be, Arthur, that Borg lost the first at 6-4, which is close, and they're 1-1. It's not like he's being annihilated. So, if you just keep it going, maybe a tide will turn. He's not really being dominated.
I think Jimmy's controlling the play, but... Oh, it almost went over. Jimmy guessed right.
Jimmy Connors down 1-2 in the second set now. He won the first set 6-4. And you're looking down on the West Side Tennis Club, Forest Hills, New York. He's, of course, won in straight sets after Connors had won the year before. He says he's tired of hearing about that.
Well, a little tenseness here.
First time that Connors has really missed a couple of balls in a row, and particularly that badly. He missed them quite long.
This point might test his mettle. Either way you'd care to spell that word.
Game in Green Bay is over between the 49ers and the Packers. And we'd like to welcome all of you who've been watching that game to the U.S. Open Finals between Connors and Borg. Connors won the first set 6-4. He's down 1-2 in the second set.
The Iceman comes through. What a great point.
Let's take a look at that again. If you want to see quick hands, quick reflexes. One stab by Connors. It's short. Borg rips it cross court. Connors just right. Didn't get quite enough on it. This is really the easy ball, and Connors misses the net, and it's triple break point for Connors. I'm sorry, for Borgers to come back live. 1-2, love 40. Second set, Connors won the first set 6-4.
Just inside the sideline.
Borg did not disagree.
15-40.
Well, the few times he's even glanced anywhere except at Connors.
You can look down about 1 yard inside the baseline.
Right.
You look like the mark caught part of the inside of the line. The majority of the mark is inside the line, no question about it. One thing about Borg and Connors, they seldom argue about a call. If they do, you think they have some justification. Still double break point for Borg.
Ball.
Björn Borg has broken serve. He now leads 3 games to 1. Second set.
Game for Mr. Borg. Mr. Borg leads 3 games to 1. Second set.
That's going to be out.
Out. 15 love.
I've often commented how difficult it is to stay on the baseline and have your opponent coming to the net all the time. You have to make the passing shot, make the good shot. It's also difficult to stay on the backcourt in this kind of a surface and keep hitting winners.
30 love.
Connors won the first set 6-4, but Borg looking stronger and stronger.
Ball.
Certainly starting to serve harder.
Thirty, 15.
That young man you're looking at is the Wimbledon champion, WCT champion, just won the U.S. Pro Championships.
Should be quite a year for him, wouldn't it?
It already is.
Yeah.
That was quite a point for Connors. You know, Tony, if
30
Bjorn wins this match, he's undisputably the best player in the world in 1976. If Connors wins this match, then it's up in the air. We'll have to wait till the Masters.
Ball.
But prestige-wise, Wimbledon is still number 1. Farstill's number 2.
30, 40.
And break point for Connors. We had 3 breaks in the first set. Connors won at 6-4. Borg has the only break in the second set. He's serving at 3-1, but he's down a break point.
Tony, I wonder what you might think. Arthur, as he just said, considers Wimbledon still the number 1 tournament in the world. What do you think?
Well, I think overall, Pat, people think that way. I always felt that winning Forest Hills was a little more difficult than winning at Wimbledon. Perhaps I felt that way because I'm an American and trying to win your own national championships, but they're both tremendously prestigious tournaments.
You'll take either one?
Any day.
I certainly will. Top of the tape, didn't quite go over.
Advantage, Borg.
1 point away from 4-1 in the second. Yes.
Marvelous touch.
I'm surprised, Tony, that Jimmy hadn't been doing that more, because Björn is standing about 2 yards behind the baseline.
I think one of the reasons is that heavy topspin makes the ball jump up quickly, but Connors, as in the case of Chris Everett, can disguise it off that forehand side because they take the racket above the slide of the ball sometimes and sort of come under it. That way, if they decide to make the drop shot, it's more difficult to read.
Perhaps another reason is a point Arthur made yesterday, and that is that Borg moves so very well.
I don't know if anybody moves better.
Yeah.
Nastasi, of course. Naturally so.
About this, Connors won the first set and seemed to be in command. Score was 6-4. In the second set, it is 4-1 Borg. Against Jimmy. Connors serving 1-4 in the second set. He won the first set 6-4.
That's bad luck for Borg.
15 love.
Borg had what would have been a very difficult ball for Connors to handle. It would have been low over that net instead of caught the tape and bounced up and made a simple shot for Connors to knock away.
Pat, now Jimmy's trying to find the range again. He's lost it momentarily, but I think he has decided that the way to find it is to keep hitting rather than start all over again and play safe. That's going to drop in. Tony, did the shadows bother you when you started to play? Because the shadows are definitely starting to creep across the court, and I would say about a half an hour, it'll be all over the court.
I think it's tough. I'm sure it's just like baseball. The ball will come in and out of darkness when that shadow comes out on the court more. It's coming into that backhand corner on Connor's side now.
They're going to turn the lights on at 6 o'clock, so that ought to help alleviate that. A little over a half hour from now. But right now, Connors, when he's on the left side of the court from which he's playing, is hitting out of the shadows into the sunlight. And that's tough.
I don't think it's a big problem right now, Pat, because the shadow is not far enough in front where the ball leaves that bright light and comes into the sort of the darkness, but won't be long until it'll be much more difficult.
It's 40-30.
40-30.
Connors serving at 1-4 in the second set. It's a best 3 of 5 for the championship at Forest Hills, the U.S. Open Championship.
put it in again. Or contre-pied, as they say in Paris.
Actually, that was an extra good volley by Borg because Connors really hit the two-hander hard, and normally you want to get out in front of that thing and try to go cross-court, but Borg went back down the line for a winner, so it's deuce. And break point for Borg. Well, take a look at that again. Now, you see Connors has Borg stretched out, but he rolls it down the line and keeps it low. Watch Connors stretched out right off the shoe tops and hits it into the net. Back live, it's break point Borg.
Right on the line.
Oh, brother.
I wanted to add, Tony, that in that last point when Bjorn hit that passing shot over, for the sake of the viewers, he did not really try to pass Jimmy. He just tried to get it over the net to get Jimmy to volley the ball up, to give himself another shot at it. And that's exactly what happened, but Jimmy missed the point. We're back at deuce.
Oh.
I'm amazed at how well both these players, I guess you would expect it of players of this caliber, how they watch the ball. Do you actually see the ball hit the racket?
Pat, when we get a time about 30 seconds, we're going to talk about eyesight.
I can answer quickly. You do not see the ball hit the racket. Try as you may. A Leica camera might, but you're not going to with the eyes we have.
Got down to that one. Right here, Tony, I was going to ask if you were superstitious when you played. Were you ever superstitious? Did you have any nervous tics? I'm going to talk about the nervous tics of Bjorn and Jimmy in a few minutes. And
I really was not superstitious.
you didn't twitch your head or bat your eyelashes or
I might have twitched a lot, but that was for superstition.
Nervousness, perhaps.
I would describe myself as a grinder. I was competitive. I was stubborn. I tried to prepare as well as I could off the court and just do the best I could on the court, and didn't believe in four-leaf clovers. Early love.
no doubt about that one.
Borg leads 4-2 in the second set as you look out from underneath the marquee.
Nothing like seeing a full house.
We've seen a lot of them.
So Bjorn Borg is 1 point away from taking a 5-2 lead in the second set. Connors won the first set 6-4. This is the best of 5 sets.
Now Connors standing in those shadows we were talking about.
Well, Jimmy has made certain he's going to go down swinging if he does go down in this game.
We've never seen him do anything else, though, really, have we?
I was going to say, that shouldn't surprise you.
Because you're never the cutest player around either. You sort of bore at it, don't you?
I was never one to temporize, no. I sort of went for the lines.
So Borg leads 5-2 in the second set. Connors won the first set. 6. Jimmy Connors to serve from the far court. Bjorn Borg in the near court. Borg leads 5-2 in the second set. That was just out. Connors won the first set the event you might have just joined us 6 games to 4, and looked very strong in doing so.
You know, I can't help but think about seeing Lloyd Bridges there. He plays tennis every day when he's not working and just loves it. Darn good player, too. Likes to poach.
Don't we all? Ego builder.
Double fault, and that is number 1 in this entire match.
Now, Pat, I hear at this juncture expect some bad calls from the linesmen because those shadows really play havoc with line calls.
I'm telling you, you got to know how difficult that is to be 8 feet behind the baseline
and hit a winner.
And hit a winner on this kind of a surface, particularly any surface really, but when it's on a slow bouncing surface, that is something else.
Well, Tony, it's the racket. Those single extrusion metal rackets can do that. And most of the major manufacturers have rackets like that, so
where can I get one?
Do you promise they'll keep them in the court?
just back.
20, 15.
You know, Pat, you did a special, I know, or a little thing on Rene Lacoste. He invented the racket that Connors is using, and when I was living in France in the early 60s in Paris, I tested that racket before it was picked up by one of the U.S. manufacturers. What a great man that Rene Lacoste is.
50 years ago, he won this championship. 1926. And still plays.
Jimmy was a little anxious on that one. He saw the daylight, the Borg's forehand, and he rushed it.
It's 40-30.
I still think he'd be better off coming over that kind of a shot rather than coming under it.
I think he's very indecisive right now. He's really not sure what to do. He's been playing the same way. Björn, much to my amazement, hasn't changed his game, but he's winning this set. Well, that looked wide to me, but I guess... And Jimmy is looking at it.
He looks back.
Well, ancient history now. You're looking at the nervous twitches of Jimmy now. He pulls up his shirt sleeves, even if it doesn't need pulling up.
I think one thing you can always do is watch the player and tell. Jimmy took a look, but he didn't say anything, and so he saw the mark and knew it was good.
Great point.
Advantage, Borg.
Set point for Björn Borg.
Jimmy sees some more feet under the canvas back there now. Tony, I think Jimmy may change rackets pretty soon. It's getting cooler. The court's getting faster.
He can't get to that one.
I think he might go to a more tightly strung racket if it gets a little cooler because the balls get harder. No more water will be put on this court, so the court's going to get faster.
But as it cools down, the balls are not going to get harder. Are they going to get a little softer?
They
get
play with
hot,
them a
they
while.
expand.
Yes. I probably stand corrected there.
Now it's advantage Connors.
Didn't see that one. Borg never got his racket under that one.
Connors holds serve, but it's 5-3 in the second set. Connors won the first set. Borg leads
Mr. Borg
5-3 in the
leads.
second.
Second set.
I just sitting here watching this. Look at the score, Minnesota.
Maybe you're right about Hankstrom. He would have rather been here. Chicago beat Detroit. How about that? Cleveland 38, the Jets 17. San Francisco over Bart Starr's Packers. Borg and Connors, in the meantime, are just about even.
He missed it.
Out. Called out.
Jimmy's going to try to take a look at the mark. Borg is coming up to take a look.
And that mark is right by a shadow.
Bjorn is not so sure himself.
Well, the umpire, John Coleman from Los Angeles, might be asking the linesman to come take a look.
We'll take a look and see if we can tell. It's very difficult always on the replay.
Can't tell.
No, you really can't tell. You can't tell whether the ball is just crossing over the line or what. At any rate, Borg has gotten credit for the point.
Borg is serving at 5-3 in the second set. The score is 15-all. Connors in the first set.
Thirty, 15.
Crowd didn't like that one.
That was
Pretty
Frank
close.
Hammond on the service line, one of the best officials you'll find anywhere. Connors not putting the pace on the ball that he was earlier.
There's Frank. Frank Hammond, that is, on the service line.
Wearing yellow glasses.
Imagine he'd be taking those off pretty soon.
Well, I think he sees the ball better, probably, Pat, when the shadows come on the court. Big point here. And we start again. Wow.
Some point. Bjorn Borg is at set point in the second set.
30.
What an example of what a good lob can do for you. Borg was in trouble. He made a good lob. Connors was able to smash, but not do enough with it. It was out.
Games to 3. Connors won the first one 6-4, so it's 1-all in the finals at Forest Hill. Sets are 1-all at Forest Hill. 16,253 in attendance today. That's a new record. Total attendance of 250,880 for the entire tournament. Tops the old record by more than 34,000. Would lead one to believe that tennis has arrived.
Either that or somebody is doing something right. And they've turned the lights on, Pat.
They all came to see us. Lights perhaps will help a little bit, alleviate that shadowy condition, but they really don't seem to have too much of an effect. Sets are 1-all. Connors serving first game, third set. Here he goes.
He's changing rackets.
Well, he's broken a string. And, you know, he was looking at it earlier, and like a string was getting thin, and sure enough, he's broken it. Got some stats from the last set. Actually, the first two sets, Connors getting 67% of his first serves in, Borg 72. unforced errors, Connors is very, very high. 24 off the forehand, 21 off the backhand, compared to 7 off the forehand and 11 off the backhand for Borg. So Borg, the more consistent off the ground. Connors hitting more outright winners.
And right now, it's love 30. This is the first game of set number 3. It's the best 3 out of 5 sets. Connor's having problems.
Dennis triple break point for Borg.
Broke him in the first game of the 3rd set. Borg serving near court. Connors up at the top of the picture. Now Borg. Sets are 1-all. Borg broke Connors in the first game of the 3rd set. And lately he has been much more consistent.
I just hope you remember that I picked Borg to win.
I do remember that.
Don't want to say I told you so in about 2 hours.
Gentlemen between us picked Connors. Arthur Ashe, Tony Trabert, and Pat Summerall at Forest Hills.
Actually, I think at this stage, Borg has softened Connors up some by keeping the ball going, and Connors was not able to keep up the power and the consistency he started with. So he's hit sort of a dry spell. He'll have to adjust.
More importantly, though, Tony, right here, the psychological edge goes to Björn Borg. I think he lost the first, but he hasn't changed his game, and he finds himself winning.
Now, I got to needle you a little bit. You were saying he should have changed it.
I know he should have changed it, but he didn't, and he found himself winning eventually in the end, and I think that probably told him, well, I'll stay with this game. Connor started pressing too much. Like he might even it up, though.
It's 30-all. Pancho Segura watching Jimmy.
We're now looking at the nervous twitches of Björn Borg.
You've got to look closely.
I don't find any myself.
He really does have remarkable composure for his age. He had it 3 years ago or whenever when all the girls were chasing him at Wimbledon. He did so well the first time he showed up.
Yes, he kept us cool and a lot of phone numbers.
Connors comes back now.
30-40.
There's Segura coming, yelling, "Come on, Jimmy."
Is that Spanish or English, Pat?
As long as the message gets there.
It's break point for Connors.
Björn didn't like that one. Tony, I think the racket that Jimmy replaced the other one with is definitely tighter. He's not hitting the ball as deep. Usually when you tighten the strings, you don't get as much depth. And he's certainly hitting it a lot shorter now.
Should be through in just a few minutes with that shadow problem we had earlier. Just over in that one corner.
Good night, all.
Aloha.
And again, it's break point for Connors.
Connors.
Got a telegram from some friends from the Rochester, Minnesota Tennis Club asking us to sort of explain about tension of rackets that Arthur and I mentioned on the air previously. We'll try to do that when we have a moment.
Okay, you disagreed, I think, if I remember correctly. Sort of looking forward to that myself.
Borg is down, but not hurt.
Jimmy has even this third set up at 1-all.
Borg is limping a little bit.
Took a nasty spill,
He sure did.
flipped over onto his back.
See if we can see it.
No, he's back up now. He had already rolled. You can see the dirt on his back. Here he
There you go.
comes. Hits the forehand with his usual top spin.
The open stance.
Foot slips out from under him.
Definitely the right leg. The right knee seems to be bothering him.
That's what they're looking at now.
Tony, what's the rule here about help on a televised match, the finals of Forest Hill?
Well, Arthur, actually, if someone gets cramps, something that's caused because he's not in shape, whatever, you're not supposed to get help. If someone falls and gets hurt like this, or if he runs into the net post, you can see his knee is scraped. Then, as long as it doesn't take too long, he's allowed to get some help. And that gentleman helping him is
Bill Norris.
Bill Norris, who is the trainer of our United States Davis Cup team, and of course works a lot with the players on the tournament. So I know that Jimmy Connors would not make any comment about the time that it takes Borg to towel off, get a little help, and come on back. Let's listen.
Tony, but the rule says that play must be continuous, and Charlie Harris interpreted that to mean 30 seconds. And the fact that Bill Norris touched Bjorn could have been a source of some contention.
Borg's right knee, and now he's looking at his right elbow. Right knee, you saw a minute ago, and that's scrape, dripping a little bit of blood. It's 15 love. Games are 1-all, third set.
He looked pretty good on that one.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be bothering him much. Maybe he can't push.
I don't think he's limping either.
No, not now.
Pat, I told you that football is not the only tough game.
When did you tell me that?
Well, one night, late somewhere.
Must have been somebody else.
Oh, too casual. Much too casual on that backhand volley.
Take a look again and watch. Borg comes into the net. Connors hits a topspin lob. Didn't get up over his head, but it was a tough backhand overhead. Landed short. Borg guesses down the line. And was there. Sort of stood up straight and missed the volley. Now we're back to live action. And that is game Jimmy Connors. Connors has taken a 2-1 lead in the third set. Connors won the first set 6-4. Borg won the second set 6.
Action in the fourth game of the third set. Connors leading 2-1 in this set. This is the first point.
Smart play by Bjorn there. Change of pace, floater. No pace. Just over the net to Jimmy's backhand. He tried a drop volley and missed.
Good disguise. I used to see Ken Rosewall do that on a shorter ball. He'd come up like he's going to lob it and then just sort of cup it cross court.
Ball.
Big question now, Tony, I think, is Bjorn's leg okay?
Say, love.
He's still kicking it a little bit tested. I don't really think it's 100%.
Yeah, I don't get the feeling that he's really hurt himself. It may sting a little, but
That's long.
The surface, this hard through, has a rather grainy-like substance on the top of it. And if you do take a spill, of course, you'd be inclined to get a scrape like he got on his knee.
it's sort of like a brick dust.
Yeah.
And as it dries out, it becomes more slippery. They did sprinkle it prior to the match, but of course, with the sun and everything else, it dries out, and it does get harder to run and get good traction. I think one of the things that happen when you take a fall like Borg did is it's sort of like the momentary shock of the change of things. All of a sudden the cool goes for a moment. He had to towel off, etc. And then he'll regroup. You can count on that.
Scores 30-all. Beauty.
He won't get there.
Well disguised. I hit it right down the backhand line.
30-40.
Break point for Connors. If you want to see a perfect offensive lob, that was it. First serve's a let.
First service.
Sets are 1-all.
And there's Pancho Segura applauding his encouragement.
Mr. Connors leads.
Were you surprised
3
to
games
see
to 1.
Borg's knee bleeding?
Third set.
Not really.
I heard he had ice water in
I
it.
was going to say he's human.
Very, very interested fan on hand. 16,253 of those.
Well, that's another first in this match. A serve and volley from Jimmy Connors.
Connors has a few words with some of those fans sitting nearby.
That's long.
Borg moving, I think, much better now.
That's going long. And it's triple break point for Borg.
40.
Connors leads in the third set, 3 games to 1. All those shadows are gone now.
That's going to be good.
You ought to let it bounce.
He swung late just a moment ago, just like that.
When that ball gets up high, real high on that backhand side, the two-handed side, and coming quickly, he has difficulty getting that racket head through in time. He's sort of trying to get over it and pull it back down, but he's been late. 15-40, still double break point for Borg. Connors has a break, leading at 3-1 in the third set. We're at 1 set apiece.
Jimmy's now getting much more deliberate on his serve. He's taking a lot more time than he normally did. The first 2 sets. Jimmy likes to wait until he's psychologically ready, because when you are serving, you control the pace of the point.
Sort of regroup a little bit.
Yes. You don't have to serve until you're ready, so don't. Don't rush into it.
And Jimmy Connors misses a very, very easy shot. So he has lost his serve. He leads 3 games to 2 in the third set. We're at 1 set apiece in the U.S. Open final.
3 games to 2.
Björn Borg on the left, Jimmy Connors on the right. They've won 1 set apiece. Borg serving at 2-3 in the third set for the U.S. Open Championship. Worth $30,000 in prize money, but a heck of a lot more than that.
Out. 15 love.
Arthur, do you see the ball better now, like in complete shade as it is, or would you see it better in bright sunlight?
I think you see it better in bright sunlight. I wear contact lenses, though. I have 20/15 vision, but bright sunlight bothers me a little bit. Too good. Perfect volley. Out in front, down the line.
15 all.
Mariana Simonescu, one of the better Eastern European women tennis players, also a very close friend of Björn Borg's, nervously puffing on a cigarette, trying to pull him through.
Yeah. Tony, we saw him miss that shot in the first set.
Let's take a look at that again. This is what Borg does so very well. Get it ready, snap it cross court, lots of topspin, lots of pace. Connors wasn't within 20 feet of it. Now we're back live
at 30-15.
Out. 30 all.
You know, we saw a quick shot of Borg's girlfriend earlier. We've seen Margie Wallace. I asked her yesterday if she gets nervous. She looks calm outside, and she said, I'm dying inside. I've seen people up a set and have a break, and they still lose.
An ace by Borg, and that's the first one by either player. Connors has one double fault. Borg has none.
30.
40-30.
Borg took a nasty spill a few minutes ago. He's still got some dirt on his back and on his shorts.
Not the kind of fall that when you stumble, it's sort of like being on ice and all of a sudden you find yourself on your back.
All good.
And it's break point for Connors.
He leads already 3-2 in the third set. Sets are 1-all.
That's out.
Connors.
Mr. Connors leads 4-2, third set.
You know, frankly, Arthur, I thought that we'd see this kind of thing in this match. A lot of service breaks because both players have such good ground strokes, and of course the serve is not as effective on a slow surface, but we only had 3 in the first set. We only had 1 in the second. We've already had 5 in this third set.
15 love.
I think you're right, Tony, but you have to expect the unexpected here, I guess.
What?
They've been playing almost 2 hours.
First service.
Games are 4-2. Connors in the third set. Sets are 1-all.
Off. 4.
That looks more like the Connors in the first set.
30 love.
You got to give Borg credit, as Arthur mentioned earlier. He just stays in there. It sort of seems like he's getting pushed around, but he keeps getting it back. Won the second set.
40 love.
Connors now 1 point away from taking a 5-2 lead in the third set.
Bjorn caught him by surprise. That fierce top spin, backhand cross court, came to the net. Jimmy Miss hit the ball.
Connors was not saluting. He's saying, man, where'd that go? down to Manhattan.
40-15.
Jackson would have been proud of that swing.
40-30.
He hesitated at the last minute there, Tony, whether to let it bounce or to take it in the air, and I think he decided he'd better take it before it bounced. Couldn't quite get it over.
So from 40 love, it's now deuce. Point for Borg. Borg has won 4 points in a row.
Advantage, Borg.
Jimmy here is about to lose his serve and his nerve, so very tight here.
Oh.
Björn Borg has broken right back. Connors led 40 love on his serve. Borg won 5 points in a row. Connors leads 4 games to 3 in the third set.
To not only be divisional champions, but perhaps Super Bowl representatives for the NFC. Super tennis right here with Borg at the opposite end. Connors closest to you. That's out.
Called out.
Connors taking a long look down there. And Borg comes over to say, yeah, it was out.
Now that does a lot for the other player. You know, both players have a good reputation of being fair and honest on the court. And when the other guy says, yes, it was out, that sort of erases it in your mind, lets you start concentrating again.
Wouldn't come to the net on a cross-court approach shot unless you got a chance of almost winning it outright. Go down the line most of the time.
30 love. Borg serving at 34.
We'll take a look at that again and see how the let cord lets Borg get back into this point. It gets past him, he runs it down, keeps it in play, and now he misses a backhand. Back to live action.
Borg's first serve is a left.
3-4, 30-15 in the third set. Borg serving to Connors.
It's for the U.S. Open Championships. Borg leads 40-15.
Little dinner time.
Snack time. Borg serving at 3-4. That's the left. Connors won the first set 6-4. Borg came back to win the second one 6-3. are 4-all now as Borg holds service.
Game for Mr.
Played
Borg.
8 games in this set. There have been 6 service breaks.
Tony's got to read this telegram addressed to me. Somebody out there likes you two. It says, Arthur Ashe, CBS Sports, Forest Hills. Stop talking during points. A tennis fan from Vancouver, British Columbia. So I guess I'll shut up for a while.
Don't do that. It's just tough to please the masses. Wide.
Low, 15.
Just inside the line.
Good old top spin.
Low, 30.
Love 30.
Got to feel the tension mounting here.
Oh, yeah.
All on Jimmy, I think. Right in the corner.
Let's take a look at that again, and watch. Connors comes in cross court, hitting under the ball, not real deep. Borg rips it down the line, completely stretched out. Connors volley just inside the sideline.
I have no idea how crucial that point was.
Right now it's 15-30. Connor's taking his time.
Would have been love 40. Wow.
A moment ago, Connors was serving at 4-2, 40 love on his serve and ended up losing the game. Now it's 4-all, 15-30.
Outlasted him.
Patient. Starting to cool off a little bit. In the stadium at Forest Hills as the sun finally goes down behind the stands, not all the way down yet.
Might have seen that tremendous emotion shown by Borg that time. He sort of threw one arm about a foot up in the air.
Looked like a nervous breakdown to me.
Yeah, that's about as much as you'll ever see from that young man. He's something else.
You know, this entire match could have hinged on that diving forehand volley of Jimmy's that he just hit inside the sideline. That's it.
So Connors holds service and takes a 5-4 lead in the third set. This is a best 3 out of 5. Don't forget that. Borg. 4-5. The first point. Game number 10, third set.
Take a look again and watch the smart play by Borg. He went in behind Connors there. Now watch this. Normally he'd go cross court from down there. Instead he rolled it up the line, just inside the line. Connors couldn't get to it. Back live, it's 15 love. Borg serving.
That's going to be out.
Hey, love.
If we get to 6-all, we'll play the 12-point tiebreaker. That's the first player to reach 7 with at least a 2-point advantage will be declared the winner of that set. He got it.
Didn't get that one.
Take another look. I didn't think Ford would get there. He not only got there, he got a darn good lob up in the air, but couldn't recover. Connors knocked it into the open court. Back live, 30-15.
Made a little gesture there to the court.
15.
What Jimmy's doing there, Tony, is hello there. Straightening the strings in his racket. Strung at about 58. Bjorn couldn't straighten the strings if he wanted to, being strung at about 85.
Cut his fingers. Here's part of that point. You'll see Borg on the dead run tries to roll the ball up the line. Missed it by a couple of feet. 40-30. Borg trying to level at 5-all in the third set. It's 1 set apiece.
The Iceman, Bjorn Borg.
And he levels at 5-all.
Twice that game, it seemed to me that
5-all, third set.
Connors got a little anxious and got out ahead of the two-hander, way out in front, and missed them badly. So it's 5-all in the third.
I think it's safe to say now, Tony, that Bjorn's leg is okay.
I think so. Like they put some Vaseline on it or something. At any rate, it stopped bleeding.
Tony, I think another element has now become very evident, and that is conditioning. We've been playing for more than 2 hours, and now superior conditioning and easy matches in the early rounds is really going to have an effect here.
Meaning you're saying it's in Connors' favor then?
Slightly, definitely. Too good.
This is the kind of shot I think you should hit instead of the drop shot you see tried so often. You take that short ball and ram it into a corner with some pace, keep your opponent away from you, see if he can get it past you. We're back live at 30-love.
Sets are 1-all, games are 5-all.
That's long. Connors pointed to the other corner saying, dummy, go the other way. Go the way you go naturally. Definitely cooling down, Pat.
Lights are on. They've been at it almost 2.5 hours. Still in the third set. It's going to be good.
Borg guessed right. There you see Pancho Segura He may look relaxed, but I can guarantee you he's not.
One of the great analysts in the game. Had to with his equipment.
40-15.
Connors does it. Don't forget, we'll play a tiebreaker if we do get the 6-all. Right now, it's 6-5. Connors in the third set. Sets are 1-all. Right here, Björn Borg serving in the third set at 5-6. Sets are 1-all. First serve is a let. Now Connors asking for the umpire to ask the people behind and underneath the canvas to get out of there.
One kid had his elbows on the ground.
That wasn't the one.
Nope.
Excellent set by Borg.
15 love.
If he could hit the ball that deep, that consistently, with that extra topspin, he would really be that much more difficult to defeat.
Connors made a super return of service. Stretched out.
15 all.
Speaking of super.
What's going on around here?
All the score. Connors leads 6-5 in the third set.
A well-planned shot. That whole point was well planned.
15-30.
You know, one thing I'm surprised that Connors has not done yet, and that on occasion we take Borg's second serve, which
Come
sometimes
in.
lands short, and rip it and come in, try to rush him.
You're right.
Talk about smoke. Have another look at this one. You want to see Borg really get into a two-hander.
Goodbye.
Pulled off sharply enough for a winner. We're back live. It's 30-all. Borg serving at 5-6 in the third set.
Dangerous to come to the net on a cross-court approach shot. He got caught. Very dangerous.
40-30.
Borg started to come in.
Deuce.
Borg goes to deuce.
Arthur, you might explain why you think it's dangerous to come in on a cross-court shot.
Because when you come into the net, Tony,
Ball.
the middle of the angle of return is right on the center service line, and you can't cover both flanks. Just over.
Advantage, Borg.
So we are 1 point away from a tiebreaker, which would be be a 12-pointer. The first to reach 7 would win. Must have a 2-point advantage.
On the line, that ball hit right on the line.
Connors pointed down to it, nodded his head. Borg looked.
That ball hit right on the line. But nobody's perfect.
Now Borg's looking over at the linesman.
It made a distinctive splat.
John Starr is the linesman who made the call. Let's see if we can pick it up. Watch it now.
Is that on the line or is that on the line? Take your pick.
What you can't tell is whether the ball is passing over the line or whether it's actually hit on. I think it's tough on the replay.
In any case, it's deuce now, and Borg has missed his first serve.
Ancient history.
That was wide.
Advantage, Borg.
Might notice that Borg has changed shirts. He has a dry shirt and it's clean on the back.
You mean his first shirt got wet, Tony?
Just a little.
And dirty. Tiebreaker time.
So Björn Borg has struggled but held
Game
serve.
for Mr. Borg. Games are
Tony,
6-all.
psychologically, who do you think has the edge here?
We shall now play the 12-point
And that's what the edge really
tie-break
is, the psychological edge here. It's the set all, 6-all.
I think it's really tough to say at this stage because Borg has been more consistent, but that's the attempt that he makes at the game, keeping it in play. Connors is more aggressive, taking more chances.
So you're going to go with who?
Well, I picked Connors to win the whole event.
I'm picking Bjorn in this tiebreaker.
All right. I'll take Connors. Let's see what happens.
Connors going to serve first. That much we are sure of with new balls.
Oh! He got to it, but couldn't get it over.
Really sort of a fluke volley by Connors. He stabbed at it.
One low, Connors.
Connors
got
has
it
served
over.
1 point. Now, from now on, each player will serve and play 2 points, starting in the ad court in each case. After 6 points, they'll change ends.
It's one apiece.
1-all.
Was wide.
2-1, Connors.
Tony, I'm sure that, sorry, Pat, that Segura and Connors discussed tiebreaker strategy. A little bit like, I guess, the 2-minute plays in football.
Would either of you think that whoever wins this tiebreaker would go on to win the match?
Not necessarily.
Gotta have an edge, though. Whoever wins the tiebreaker must have an edge.
It gives you 2 sets to 1 edge, but the other guy's not going to throw in the towel from that point.
Ball.
That's the second double fault of the match so far by Connors. Score is 2-all.
Jimmy's asking for another ball. I think he wants a fast ball now. Ball that hasn't been roughed up too much. Here we go.
That's gone.
Borg will serve down. He leads 3-2.
After this point, they'll change ends without stopping to rest or towel off. Borg will serve the next point from this end.
tiebreaker in the third set. Connors won the first set 6-4. Borg the second one 6-3.
Both players stopped to grab a towel and towel off, and Borg took a drink of water. And according to the rules, in tiebreakers, you're not supposed to do that. They both did it, and I'm sure no one's going to say anything about it.
We have special rules for television, Tony.
Go! That's long, so Connors will now be serving at 3-4.
3-4.
Jimmy is looking around. I think someone made a comment during play there, which would be very distracting.
From time to time throughout this tournament, we've had a spectator holler out or fault or something, which has thrown the players off. I'm sure that's what they're hoping will not happen here.
Connors serving 3-4. Absolute packed house. Very, very quiet, and at the moment, very tense. Tiebreaker now.
I tell you, Tony, this crowd is more tense than the players.
4-all.
Of course, Bjorn is just out for a Sunday stroll.
Maybe on the outside, but not on the inside.
Dropped in.
Tremendous shot up the line by Borg. He leads 5-4. Take a look at that again. You expect Borg to go cross-court in this situation, and he rolled it up the line perfectly.
Jimmy's got to stop going cross-court on those approach shots.
Back live, 5-4 Borg. First to reach 7 with a 2-point advantage will win the set.
Very low percentage shot. It was the right place to approach, though, down the line. But that ball was dipping so fast, there wasn't much you could do.
You might have seen Pancho Segura shaking his head no, and it's now set point for Borg. As a matter of fact, he has 2 set points.
It's okay.
We'll take a look again and watch. Now Connors comes very close to reaching over the net to make contact. He did not do so. It is still set point for Borg with Connors serving at 5-6.
Keep in mind also sets are 1-all.
Getting nervous myself now.
Maybe that's why my palms are wet. Connors taking his time, trying to collect himself.
Set point for Borg.
Connors gets even.
Look at Pancho. They have to win by 2, and once again we'll change to the court. At some point, physical stamina has to be a factor.
Although, Pat, I think they're going to ride a long ways on adrenaline. They're both in good shape, no question about that. They're young, they're fit. But in a thing like this, emotion is such a big thing.
Listen to the crowd.
That certainly feels good to both players. Feels good to me. I'm just on the other side of the camera.
6-all, Connors to serve. Tiebreaker, third set. Sets are 1-all.
Ace at 6 points all.
For Connors, and what a time.
And it's now set point for Connors.
And now Borg will serve. Who the crowd is for.
I think they're just for excellence. That's all there is to it.
That's what they're seeing.
They're for good tennis. That's long. And it's now set point for Borg.
Tony, I don't know why, with the success he had going down the line, he would choose to go across the court. The last 2 times he's gone down the line to Bjorn's forehand, he's won the point. Why would he change? Bjorn is saying, why is everybody getting excited?
Where am I? 8-all.
This is what some people call lingering death. They used to use a 9-point sudden death tiebreaker. When you got to 4-all, it was set point or match point for both.
It's out. Set point again for Bjorn with his serve to come.
And Connors really didn't play that point well at all. He got a floater. He didn't charge the ball. He ended up having to make a low volley.
Just simply the best approach shot you could possibly hit. That's all there is to it. 1 foot from the baseline.
Or less.
9-all.
Incredible.
You know, both players, people ask you, how can a good player make such a shot under such pressure? I think the thing is, it's...
Change ends.
That's right, 18 points. You change in.
And let's give a ball boy.
The ball boy, yes, he came through with that.
He's been here before. I don't know the young man's name, but I know he's been here as a ball boy many years, and he came up to remind the umpire, you change every 6 points.
You know, Tony, it's Arthur. We had something happen the other night. Sometimes these things can get rather difficult to keep track of. Ivan Guligon. Next year will be an umpire. Ivan Guligon in a tiebreaker got 3 consecutive serves.
The crowd now screaming for Jimmy.
Just super.
Arthur, I was going to say, don't you think you become a little fatalistic when you're playing like this? You know you got to make good shots. It's short. Now watch him rip it. Outright winner, and it's now set point for Connors.
10-9 Connors. First to 7, you might remember. To win by 2 wins the tiebreaker. But you have to win by 2. First game of the 4th set. Connors leads 2-1. Connors won the first set. Björn won the second set. And Connors came back in a tiebreaker to win the third.
Connors here, Pat, is trying to ride the momentum from the previous tiebreaker, and he's going for broke more or less, and it's not working right now.
That's long.
40 love.
I meant to mention earlier, in previous matches, when someone has lobbed down the backhand side of Björn Borg, he hasn't really tried to get around it to hit an overhead. He sort of hit the backhand overhead. But today against Connors, when he's had a chance, he's slipped around very quickly to smash it, which I think is a better play.
Very quickly. A love game for Björn Borg. He takes the 1-love lead. Into the 4th set now. Connors leads 2-1. CBS Sports. That was a second serve from Connors. And it was also the first point of the game, the second game of the 4th set. Sets 2-1 Connors. Our scheduled off time was 7 o'clock. So we're not about to leave. We'll stay on until this match is over.
Tony, that's where that tightly strung racket doesn't allow Björn much control, really. It comes off the strings so quickly. 30 love.
We never did get into that, did we?
No, we didn't. We'll get into it, though.
Take a look at that again.
40 love.
Connors makes the low volley short. Borg gets to it, tries to flick it cross court, but doesn't get it high enough. Back live, 40 love Connors.
Nice service ace. That's the second one by Connors. The other came in the tiebreaker in that great third set.
Games are 1-all.
Games are 1-all in set number 4 now. Connors leads 2-1.
They have to be getting a little weary here now, I think. Pat, 10 minutes short of 3 hours of play. Getting cool.
You expect the best in the U.S. Open Championship, and Connors is down.
And he's up.
Now asking for a towel.
15 love.
$30,000 goes to the winner, along with the prestige.
Right now, I think they could care less about the money.
I imagine so. It's for the U.S. Open Championship at Forest Hills, New York.
take a look at this again, you see Connors, look out. He's safe at second base.
Games are 1-all, fourth set.
Out. 40, love.
Winner by Borg. That's the situation at Forest Hills for the U.S. Open Championship between Björn Borg and Jimmy Connors.
2 games to 1.
Connors won the first set 6-4. Borg the second 6-3. Connors the third in a tiebreaker 7-6, and Borg leads in set number 4, 2 games to 1.
Out. 15, love.
That's going to be out.
Out. 3, love.
Now the lights are really taking effect. I think the importance of turning them on early is to let them sort of ease in gradually as the sun goes down.
30 love to score. By the way, those of you expecting to see 60 minutes,
30, 50.
You're going to preempt Nastasi?
that's a tough job. Connors trying to level it 2-all in the fourth set.
That's out.
Game for Mr. Connors.
Just over the baseline, so it is 2-all in the fourth set.
Games are 2-all. Fourth set.
Good depth by Borg.
Wow, it's very quiet now.
A little past 7 o'clock here, excuse me, Arthur, but no one's gone home.
No, sir.
Boy, I sense Bjorn is trying to take charge a little bit more than he has been.
With this type of game, is that a good idea, do you think, or should he just stick with what he does so well?
think there was a natural lull after the tiebreak in the third set, but he's now really hitting the backhand especially a lot harder than he was early in the match. That's got to be partly the light. It's dusk now. It's not dark and it's not daylight. A lob at this time of the evening is very difficult to find, let alone to hit.
And there are no clouds overhead, so that makes depth perception that much more difficult.
Did not miss that overhead.
40-30.
I'm sure everyone could hear that airplane going overhead, and as a player, you really don't like that to happen when a ball's in play because we rely on the sound so much. You can tell how a ball's been struck by the sound.
We're located very close to LaGuardia and Kennedy Airport.
We'll take a look at part of that again. Here comes Connors. It stays low. Borg down the line in a crisp two-handed volley cross court. No chance for Borg to get to it. Back live and it's deuce. And break point for Connors. It's 2-all in the fourth set.
Sets are 2-1. Connor.
That's out. So Jimmy Connors has broken serve to take a 3-2 lead in the fourth set.
Metal racket against wooden racket. Number 1 against number 2. Seating-wise, that is.
Tony, I'm changing my prediction now. I've played Bjorn a million times, and I sense a little bit of physical and spiritual resignation in him.
Duro.
Sneaky, we call him.
Because he could sneak it by you when you came to the net. That's what he could do.
Great guy.
30 love. Connors leads in the fourth set, 3-2. Waiting for the airplane, I think, to get out of its takeoff pattern.
Okay, I want you on record now. You started to say you changed your prediction. What does that mean?
I'm going with Jimmy now.
Okay.
I'm not really sure we allow that.
Oh, house rules?
Left. First service.
Got him.
40-15.
40-15.
That's what I call carrying the ball very well. He just got that ball in the strings and just caressed it down the line. Didn't sort of snap at it. Terrific control. Same fella.
40, 30.
Terror is human. Forgive divine. Somebody said that once.
Arthur Ashe.
No forgiveness there.
So Jimmy Connors has held serve, and he now leads 4 games to 2 in the 4th
Mr.
set.
Connors leads 4 games to 2.
You just feel the tenseness in the crowd now. Ever since that tiebreaker, they've been very quiet.
Ball.
Well, Tony, he let that one bounce.
15 love.
First, I think that you should let every defensive lob bounce. The high ones, get behind it, sight it well, and then really try to give it a ride.
Too good. You know, Tony, if Jimmy doesn't win this match, the press is going to be saying, what's wrong with U.S. tennis?
All.
Because Björn has won the WCT, Wimbledon. Panada won the French and the Italian. Vilas won the Canadian.
Arthur, I think no question that Borg is starting to hit that two-hander harder. And it's double break point for Connors.
15, 40.
Tony, I think this match is over. I've seen Bjorn in this situation before, and something's missing. I think I can tell with a little authority, having played him so many times.
You think it's fatigue?
Oh, good.
That was close.
I think Borg played that closer than he wanted to.
Pat, no, I don't think it's fatigue.
40.
I really don't know what it is, but sometimes Bjorn gets in moods like this.
Still break point for Connors. This is one that Connors could really come in behind and surprise Borg, I think. He hasn't done it all match. Two break points saved by Bjorn Borg.
Use.
It's long. Mariana Simonescu.
Working on her third pack, I think.
Yeah. So Bjorn Borg saved a couple of break points.
We'll return to the West Side Tennis Club with more championship tennis after this word from your local
Game
station.
for Mr. Borg.
Connors to serve in the 4th set. He leads 2-1. out there a long time.
There's the shot that Roosevelt did so well in years gone by.
Tremendous disguise that time by Borg.
15 all.
Looked like he was going to try to throw up a lob over right down the line. Instead, he rolled it across court. Connors didn't even flinch. 15 all.
Side.
30-15.
Got to add now here, Tony, that the service linesmen have to be awfully tired right now. They're the ones that have to concentrate so hard. And I'm sure Frank Hammond is feeling it, sitting there with bent over his chair. They've been out there 3 hours also.
Ray Wershen is the other service lineman.
Not quite.
Borg almost fell down on the previous shot.
40-15.
Was out.
40-30.
Too much side spin. That shot that Jimmy hits with his backhand there, when it hits the ground, it skids off to the side.
Got underspin, but a little sides, and it sort of goes across the
Yeah.
back of it a little bit.
Exactly.
Stays low and will run away from you. Oh, he was there and just caught the tape.
That view from the blimp. Connors leads in the fourth set, 5 games to 3.
Mr. Connors.
Jimmy's going to do here.
I think he's going to do just what he's been doing. He's going to take a whale at the ball when he has a chance. He'll try to keep it playing till he gets what he wants. I know Connors didn't expect Borg to do that, and that's serve and come in.
15 love.
Borg serving at 3-5. As we said, he's taking a rip at it.
30 love.
Good serve.
Ball hit right on the line and stayed down, and 40 love Borg.
40 love. Off.
Oakland upset the Pittsburgh Steelers, 31-28. That game in Oakland. Going forward, full service, and it's 5-4. Listen to the crowd. As they settle down, Connors looks around. He'll be serving at 5-4. If he can hold serve, he'll be the U.S. Open champion. He leads 5-4 in the fourth set.
You certainly can't say they were scared on that point.
No. 15 love.
Nothing tentative about that.
I think that's one of the things when you're in this quality of player, you know that the other guy's not going to have a coronary. If you're going to win it, you've got to go ahead and make shots.
Much less Björn Borg. I don't think he's going to die of a heart attack. Might have lost it in the lights.
He looked up. Connors 2 points away now.
30 love.
Seemed to me that he sort of took his eye off a little bit, and with the extra topspin, it brought the ball down more quickly, and he just really mishit it. It is quiet. You know, it's interesting if Connors makes a shot like that, they say it's great, cool, and everything else. And if he makes it, if he missed it, they say he rushed it, maybe choke or whatever. 30-15.
Left. First service.
Good attacking forehand by Borg. I would be surprised, Arthur, to see Jimmy come in behind his serve here at 30-all.
It would really surprise me. I don't think he will.
Ball.
And it's match point for Connor.
Now I think he might come in, Tony.
40-30.
I think this serve is going to go wide to the backhand to open up the court, and then a quick forehand or backhand cross court to Bjorn's forehand. See what he does. It is so quiet here. Just like I told him, but he didn't get away with it.
Deuce.
Score is deuce. A lot of the fans thought that ball was out.
Advantage, Connors.
Let's take a look at it again, and you'll see that ball coming right down the line. It appeared to hit right on the line.
Looked good to me.
And Borg did not make any look at the mark at all. No complaint whatsoever. We're back live. It is again match point for Connors.
Deuce.
2 match points so far, saved by Bjorn Borg.
And we go to match point as Connors waves it out.
And what an approach shot.
Connors.
Connors' approach shot hit just inside the baseline.
For the third time. Match point.
He might serve up the middle this time. Pat, I'm going to take a guess because he's gone into Borg's two-hander twice now in match points. He might try to slip one up the center and try to ace him.
Congratulations.
Look at Segura. Now look at Connors. The U.S. Open champion. Way to go, kid.
And more importantly, Pat, the U.S. has not been bageled this year. We got one of our own on the major title.
Look at Margie. Jimmy Connors surrounded on the sideline, the 1976 U.S. Open tennis champion. To him goes $30,000 and that great, great title.
Mr. Connors wins 6-4, 3-6, 7-6, 6-4.
You ain't gonna make it.
All right. I practiced that.
We forget.
So you did it for Timmy, huh? At the full right.
Your attention, please. Mr. Michael Ewick, please report to the referee's desk.
10 seconds.
Michael Ewick to the referee's desk. And Dr. Douglas Greer to the referee's desk.
Took about 3.5 hours for Jimmy Connors to regain the U.S. Open championship that he first won 2 years ago in 1974. How must he feel now? Arthur,
That's a little bit later. Well,
later.
Pat, he's one happy fella.
Watch the step.
The fire melted the ice this time. The ice, of course, of Björn Borg.
Yeah, sure.
And he did it through a combination of his fire, fury, and finesse, as we saw in some of those change of pace shots, especially from his forehand.
I'm sure he's very, very happy, Pat Summerall, because this is the first major title Jimmy Connors has won in 14 months. He's had a career that everyone else would like to have. He was criticized after the big year in 1974. People felt that he had slipped because he didn't win a major title last year, but I know he's extremely happy and relieved to have won the U.S. Open Championship for the second time in 3 years. Of course, he was a finalist, a runner-up last year to Manuel Orantes.
As a matter of fact, he pointed out a couple of times, hey, how would you like to have the year that I had in 1975?
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, who wouldn't? We will go back in just a few seconds now and watch the match point.
Here we go. Connors serving. Short ball. Now Connors hits under it. Doesn't get it extremely deep, but there's pressure at this stage. Had Borg gotten it over the net, Connors, I don't think, would have been able to handle it. He turns to Pancho Segura and his girlfriend, Margie Wallace, with arms upstretched. Björn Borg, I'm sure a very disappointed young man, but a fine sportsman, a tremendous tennis player, shakes hands with Jimmy Connors. So Jimmy Connors is the U.S. Open champion for the second time in 3 years.
I didn't even realize it.
Jimmy?
You go right upstairs after you're through here?
Right, yeah.
Thank you.
Go, Mike, please.
Okay.
Cold. Oh.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
They're having microphone trouble.
I know.
Chrissy's gone.
What's happening, buddy? I know the feeling.
Bob, they're having microphone problems out there in the center court, so if you're thinking of getting Connors, you won't get him.
Q. Give me the goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Now they got it, Bob.
Prize Award Ceremony. I would like to introduce again Mr. Stan Moless, President of the United States Tennis Association. Stan?
Thank you, Mike. Will Björn Borg please come up?
As you look at Jimmy Connors, the 1976 U.S. Open tennis champion, to remind you that 60 minutes will be abbreviated tonight as we had to stay on the air with this match. We were delighted to do so. Björn Borg is up on the award stand now with Stan Moless, the president of the USTA. And listen to the hand that Borg is getting, deservedly so. The Iceman was tough, but so was the fire. Jimmy Connors, the U.S. Open champion. Borg acknowledging now. It has been a...
While we're waiting, I think we certainly again should congratulate the champions in all the divisions of the U.S. Open. Chris Evert for her women's singles championship, and of course Jimmy Connors and those that won the men's, women's, and mixed doubles.
We remind you again about CBS Sports Spectacular coming up next Saturday at